Amari Cooper, you know what he's going to do. Nick Chubb, he's going to do his thing. Man, Elijah Moore is very interesting to me. I don't know why, I don't know how, but he makes me think that he may do some things that people just don't see coming out of it. He's at 48. Again, still don't always get it all, but I like Elijah Moore because he wasn't utilized a lot with the Jets.
Right.
Right? They moved on from him because they believe Alan Lazard and
the Packers,
Cobb,
the rest of the Packers, yeah.
The rest of the Packers crew they're gonna out finesse what Elijah Moore is able to do. I kind of see Elijah Moore really sneaking in and making some plays. They've surrounded Deshaun Watson with a lot of weapons that I don't believe people and teams are going to expect the efficiency that we're going to get out of them with Nick Chubb running the football and the play action because that offense is built on play action.
Absolutely. And going into last season, people looked at the Jets and they said, oh, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore is an incredible duo. They didn't know Elijah Moore was going to be completely written out of the offense based on the quarterback, based on all the problems the Jets had last year. So I'm with you. I think Elijah Moore is a great value here. I think he's probably being even a little underdrafted. I think it's an underrated stack if you're playing best ball between Cooper and Moore, or if you even want to put Njoku in there, since tight end is such a shallow position, if you want to stack that way with one of those receivers in Njoku.
That's a smart play then, based on what you're saying with stack. I like that.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I do like Elijah Moore a lot, and I think the Browns last year, I mean, he's not the same type of receiver at all as like a Donovan Peoples-Jones. Obviously, he's not much bigger body receiver, but just in terms of needing someone, Amari's not exactly Mr. Consistency. Season to season he is, game to game, not exactly. If you're looking for a more consistent option coming out of Cleveland, I think it's Elijah Moore.
Well, here's the funny thing. When you look at Elijah Moore and the routes that he's able to run, man, digs, curls, comebacks, flats, screens, slants, go routes. He can run a lot of different routes and be successful and win. 60% when he's running a go route, 81% on the deep out. That tells me because he gets his hips going, gets the DB and out of his back pedal, and all of a sudden he crosses his face. You run the same route, make it look the same, and then all of a sudden you go run a deep end. All of a sudden now that corner doesn't know what to do. All that corner knows is they need to get off the ball because the speed of Elijah Moore and his technique is really good, and you add a good coaching staff and a better quarterback, and all of a sudden things get real interesting real fast at the job of the corner at that time. So that could be tough, and that could be challenging on the corner to realize that you're outmanned in the middle of the football game.
Let me ask you maybe a weird question. Is there a specific type of wide receiver that performs better in colder, snowier conditions? I'm thinking like week 16, week 17. Like is someone who stretches the field on a slippery field a good thing because the corner might fall down or lose a step? Or is it a shiftier middle of the field guy because they don't even want to take, the offense doesn't want to take those deep shots because of the conditions? Or does it not matter at all?
It depends on the offense. It depends on the coordinator, right? It also depends on the quarterback. I would tell you, and I didn't believe it, but Deshaun does not play great in cold weather. Now, being in Cleveland, he will change because in Houston, they were indoors. They're not indoors in Cleveland. So I believe he will improve. But historically, Deshaun Watson does not always put up great numbers in the cold because he wasn't practicing and playing in the cold. I think he will adjust, and I think those numbers will disappear by the time the cold weather starts.
Yeah. Well, he's from Georgia, right? And then went to Clemson and then played for the Texans. So, yeah, I can imagine cold isn't his favorite.
When you're not around it, you don't know. I remember playing Tim Jernigan?
Yeah, Timmy Jernigan.
Yes, from Florida. We were in Baltimore, it snowed. That was the first time he ever saw snow. Bro, he was like a kid, bro. It was so cool to watch him. Because you see these athletes and you think with the checks that we can do anything. Yeah, we can. But when life hits you and you've been in a certain place for a certain amount of time, you don't always get to do and see the things that most people in other areas that's the norm for them. It's not the norm. It doesn't snow in Miami.
No.
It never snows in Florida.
Well,
real snow. How about
different
that?
kind of snow. Yeah.
Yeah, different kind of snow. Right. Well, they're both natural, but the snow that comes from the snow clouds. How about that?
The one that falls down, not goes up.
Yeah,